Hello, welcome. Can you hear me, aye? Is this mic actually working? Welcome to the United Colours of Cumnock. Actually, quite a few of you here I know already, so you'll know the poem. But this show came about for, there's a few things happened to this poem since I first read it. It's been quite my kind of big hit, and it ended up being a few people have used it in different ways. There's a modern studies teacher over this neck of the woods who uses it in a class about post-industrial and post-structured Britain, and it was also in a book, an anthology by the Scottish Book Trust called My Favourite Place, which is about people writing about their favourite place in Scotland. Mine was a wee bit less positive than Michael Palin's one and other people's, but it ended up with through other libraries in Scotland. And what happened then was the local minister, the Reverend John Patterson, wrote a letter and complained to the MSP and demanded to know what he's going to do about this poem. I don't know what he wanted to do, whether it was write another poem or whatever, but he wasn't pleased. I don't know why, because it just tells a story about a town, not just Cumnock, about many other towns, about what happened to them, sort of post-industrial thing, when you lost certain community spirits and things after the places where the work shut down and it was replaced with sort of division and sectarianism, and when coal was the sort of major industry, it was replaced with heroin, probably as the biggest industry in the town. And it's not an unusual story, and it's not unique to Cumnock. But the best thing that happened to this poem was one night I was out for a pint or two in the south side of Glasgow with Francis Lopez. We ended up in a wee sort of folk and poetry club, Sammy Dow's, and that night Francis took a turn, got a line of guitar and took a turn and sung the song version. He'd written a song based on this poem with a chorus and everything, and that was sort of quite a compliment. It was a really good song, and from then we've been sort of playing together and doing this together. We've done it shorter versions of this at Seeds of Thought, at the Wicker Man Festival, at Sammy Dow's and things, and sort of played a bit with the idea until we got this show together. The show it's not all about Cumnock, you'll be glad to hear. It's just some poems and some songs, but you have the song and the poem, United Colours of Cumnock, in it. And it's also, so by myself, poems from me, songs by San Fran and the Siscos, and a film that Francis Lopez made, a film that Francis Lopez...
You sound like a police officer, Francis Lopez.
That's the bit, the film was a bit where you press play. You remember that bit?
You did in this date, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. The film.
Yes, that was my cue.
Francis Lopez made up a cine footage local family. It's actually New Cumnock rather than Cumnock, but it's the same story, same kind of town. So, welcome to United Colours of Cumnock. And this is the poem I wrote a few years ago called United Colours of Cumnock. My town is a green town, but it's not like a fuck the queen green town. It's a tree in every scene town, with gardens freshly dug. That's green that pours through every crack, through pavements, viaducts, fitler parks, where men who suffer heart attacks go walks with three-legged dogs. My town is a blue town, a who the fuck are you town. What school did you go to town, and are you one of us? That's blue that seeps through doors and walls, to pubs and bookies, village halls, where men would guard old Derry's walls, instead of guarding us. My town was once a red town, another minor dead town, a men who fought and bled town, with brave and stalwart wives. That's red that came from meeting rooms, for folk that worked at pubs and looms, when borough bands played different tunes, and we marched for better lives. But now my town's a grey town, a 50 miles a day town, a watch life slip away town, a tunnel wainy light, grey that weeps for dying eyes, bewildered parents, children's cries, with skinny arms and stick-like thighs, and no strength left to fight. Thanks. You hear the guitar okay? Yes. Leave it in. this world where I'll belong when I'm gone. And I won't know the right fear on when I'm gone. You won't find me singing on this song when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm away. My days won't be dances of delight when I'm gone. The sands will have shifted from my saint and gone. Won't find me singing on the song when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm away. And I won't breathe bracing air when I'm gone. And I won't be worried about my kids when I'm gone. I can't be asked to do my share when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm away. I won't be running from the rain when I'm gone. Won't even suffer from the pain when I'm gone. Can't say who's to praise and who's to blame when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm away. I won't see the golden of the sun when I'm gone. The evenings and the mornings will be gone. Can't be singing louder than the guns when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm away. I won't be laughing at the lies when I'm gone. I won't question when or where or why when I'm gone. And I can't live proud enough to die when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. There's no place in this world where I'll belong when I'm gone. And I won't know the right fear when I'm gone. Won't find me singing on a song when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm
When I said there was a film, this next poem I'm going to do is about a really important. But the film started off, they didn't get very far with miners working down a pit, they were doing their lift and got their work. Mining was a hugely important thing to Cumnock, but not just because it was a job, it wasn't just about digging coal. It was the kind of social fabric was based on about the miners. The whole town, that people lived together with people who worked together. You did the same kind of jobs, the same sort of problems hit you. But not only that, it was our social values came from mining, came from solidarity, came from working together. All the things that divide communities, sectarianism and all that stuff, didn't matter a job when you were doing a pit. And that meant that people came together and important things like during the 1984-85 miners' strike. People stood together and were used to that kind of solidarity. And it came from the trade unions, it came from the National Union of Mine Workers, which is probably the greatest. If you come from a mining area, where Fife or Lothians or Yorkshire, it is probably the greatest movement for social change this country has ever seen. And you lose that when you lose the pitch, you lose the unions, you lose the things that hold people together. And this poem's about trade unions. Is there anybody that's a trade union official? Aye, well this is all the other trade union officials, right? So it's a poem about trade unions getting into negotiations with bosses, coming out with absolutely nothing, and try to sell you a pig in a poke as a victory. And it's called Pie in the Sky. Tuesday, wrote Mr. Kipling, received a delegation from my factory's trade union. We had tea on the lawn, a sweet and sticky communion. Peculiar chaps, especially the female one who said as she reached for her second bun that my fortune was built on the blood of slaves in the Cuban sugar trade. I told her that this was preposterous. We don't deal with Cuba, they're communists, and on the advice of our economists, we get all of our sugar from Costa Rica. They don't have trade unions and are therefore exceedingly cheaper. The big guy in the donkey jacket smiled as I opened the second packet of fondant fancies in pink and yellow. and he stuffed his face and became quite mellow as I explained why we couldn't afford paternity leave. He got cream in his moustache and he wiped it in his sleeve. They demanded they must have a pay rise as Jeeves served up the Bramley pies. Then I suggested a sugar-coated pill, that they join me on Friday for Pims at my club, instead of finishing their shift in the usual pub. But I know how these things work. Each tea drinking session must end in a concession. So although we couldn't agree that capitalism was in crisis, from now on the family-sized bakewell will come in equally divided and distributed slices. Thank you. Again, I want to say that was actually written about a guy I always like to mention called Alec Mills, who got 50 years work for the NUM in Auchinleck, and even when he retired used his bus pass to go and help people with forms, benefit forms and claim forms and all that stuff. And he always said, he had this great saying about union members who got too close to the bosses and went for golf or went for drinking, that if they're taking you out, then they're taking you in. What was that? San Fran, the Siscos.
Joining the old festive tours, circumstances kept me back from her, so I found myself a stool, regular as a rule. It was the only way to escape. It was the only way to escape. It was the only way to escape. Until you saw. Had a few drinks and already on my way. I slept good night, I hardly slept what I said, but I had to get around the main. Sure it was not time, 'cause time without her minutes, yes, time without her minutes, yes, time without her minutes, seemed like a day. I'm wishful drinking, I'm wishful drinking, oh, I'm wishful drinking all night, oh. It was a time when I was the last to leave, when I said goodnight but I could hardly find my feet. I staggered all over the roads to my friends, singing blue, singing blue, singing blue, walking through the streets. She took me to her uncle's where we sat and watched TV. But I could see more than three of them. There was certainly more than three of me. Oh, I'm wishful drinking, I'm wishful drinking, oh, I'm wishful drinking all night, oh. And this one's called Big Girl Now. If the tarpaulin that's showing the film falls down at any minute, don't be surprised, because I won't be. So you think you're a big girl now, and you don't need to ask my face. Your mother keeps wishing that I paid your rent. Yes, you think you're a big girl now. The first time we talked it made sense, and we found our minds made the same way. The neighbours kept watch, the time we spent, God knows what they'll think of us now. So you think you're a big girl now, you don't need to ask my advice. Your mother keeps wishing that bring girls to the house. She'd wheel the mountains and fields, breaking the ice with a non-stop talk. And I broke out lines they need. So yeah, you know, and you don't need to ask my name. Your mother keeps wishing that I'll be your rich. Yes, you know, seem to see eye to eye. Scandals so past and let's hope it's the last. Man smelling of fear. So you think you're a big girl now, and you don't need to ask my advice. Your mother keeps wishing that I'll be your rich. Yes, you think you're a big girl now. Yes, your mother keeps wishing that I'll be your rich. Yes, you think you're a big girl now. Cheers, man. 3 poems now about the media. This first one's about the... Look, quite a lot of people have noticed this and said this. Like a t-shirt by the way, it's good, isn't it? Yeah, class wars. About older people, a certain generation, don't really know the difference between health and safety and political correctness. They get a wee bit kind of mixed up about it. And this is about that kind of thing, and just about political correctness in general. And it's really about how the media inspired kind of moral panics that you get all the time in the Daily Mail, or rather about the people in the media that inspire moral panic. It's called Esther Ranson. Yeah. See, when I was wee, there was a strange old man. He used to buy sweets for the van. We'd go in for tea and we'd sit in his knee. It never did us any harm. It's political correctness gone mad. Like mace men, my dad would sweat and toil until his foot was crushed with a big steel coil. And when I had just turned 17, we'd do those 2 fingers in a threshing machine. I mean, they paid them in full all the time they were off, but compensation. They're having a laugh. That's political correctness gone mad, so it is. Political correctness gone mad. There was men in turbans went about the place. They were selling stuff for a big suitcase. They had cloths and dusters, polish for the floor. My gran would say, shush, hey, there's a darkie at the door. And a man bought a shop down the street who was black, and we all called him Packy Jack, and he just took it as a bit of fun, and once again no harm was done. It's political correctness gone mad, I tell you. Political correctness gone mad. Shite. Say it again, shite. You see, you can hanker after some bygone days of family values and a golden age, but you might be the kind of folk that like selfishness and nignog jokes and refer to Jews as yids and kikes and call my brothers poofters and my sisters dykes and embark upon an internet crusade about how much civil servants get paid and take away the workers' rights hard won in many union fights. If political correctness went mad, I'm glad, because it raises the banners for basic manners. It increases the frequency of common decency, and it puts an end to your right to offend. And if Esther thinks that's bad or sad, that's a political media gone mad. Thank you. This one's about, this was inspired by a guy who comes from New Cumnock actually, at Francis, so he's about our age, he's no, he's a sort of friend of friends and all that. So you ever see the poet Rab Wilson, fantastic poet and that, but this billionaire I'm about to talk about is his mate. Rab hangs about with billionaires. This is your real slum Cumnock poetry here, you know. This is a guy called Tam Hunter, who you might know as Sir Tom Hunter of the Hunter Foundation. Tom was writing about in the Scotland Sunday a couple of years ago about working with the coffee growers in Malawi, and he reckoned that the coffee growers in Malawi should work together as a co-op, and all of the money they make for their enterprise should be reinvested back into their community, which I thought was a fucking great idea. But if we only thought of that when they sold Sports Division for £440 million, and maybe New Cumnock, where they used to live, would look a wee bit more like Monte Carlo, where he lives now, instead of looking more like Malawi every year. That's a poem about that, but it was inspired by that, but it's about a poem called The Secret Millionaire, which you probably have seen. If you know, the idea of the Secret Millionaire is you get a very rich person, you take up a post of their wealth and you redistribute it to people less wealthy than them, or to invest in public services and community projects. And
which is it's not a new idea. You probably all remember it. Years ago, they had this thing called tax. People used to have to pay as well, kind of thing back then. So it's not a new idea, but this is about that programme, The Secret Millionaire, and it's called the Armani Trousered Philanthropists. And I have to point out that any similarity to any person in this poem, either living or dead, is entirely intentional. It's definitely intentional. In fact, there is a guy, I have to point out, there's a guy in this poem called Grant McIntosh, who's not just in it because he rhymes with dosh, which he does, which is great, it's brilliant. But he is actually a very real-life, scary Paisley gangster, so if you ever bump into him, don't tell him about the poem. Please, or not Dave, he probably maybe like the notoriety. And this is called the Armani Trousered Philanthropists. This week's secret millionaire is a man who used to live in Ayr. He went into business with his wife's big brother and made billions selling insurance cover, and now he wants to give some back, so sent him for a fortnight to Fergusley Park. And as he sets out to mix and blend with the hoosing scheme he hopes to mend, due to a grass at Channel 4, the local businessmen know the score. They take him by the horn and show him their community, point out the odd needy worthy investment opportunity. There's cheap lunches for pensioners in the pub, there's a disabled women's fishing club, Big Tam at the centre's always there for a cup of tea, just pull up a chair, and if it's help you need or benefit advice, the folk at the drop-in are often nice. So our man writes his cheque and he's quite content for Big Tam to coordinate how it's spent. In short, to sum up, our man's guilt-ridden dosh ends up in the hands of one Grant McIntosh, who invokes a global business plan, reinvests it in Colombia and Afghanistan to fill boats and lorries full of drugs, to punt to all the Paisley mugs, then some jiggery-pokery for the tax advisor. The money's back, more than the wiser. And feeling a wee bit guilty about his money grabbing, Grant throws a big party to the old folks' cabin. Now, you might think that's pretty sick, to pull off such a dirty trick. But selling shite to you and me is what get Beatty men to the top of the tree. And so what if Grant flooded Paisley with smack? At least he's getting a wee bit back. Last poem in this wee section about the media is a tribute poem to a fantastic poem written in the 60s by a wonderful poet called Adrian Mitchell. It was called To Whom It May Concern. And there's a kind of nod in this. There's just only one line that I kind of base on that sort of stuff, but it was also, his poem is about the media and the reaction to Vietnam. Mine's is about the idea that the things that they tell you to be scared of don't actually exist, and the things that they tell you are ordinary, everyday things are the things you really should be scared of. It's called Lies About Iraq. Frack my beach up, pulverise the seascape, trigger little earthquakes, pummel coral reef into submission, drain the sea overfishing, and tell me lies about Iraq. Fill my land up with batteries and little jars of chicken paste and nappies soaked in human waste and carcasses of stranded whales and loaves of milk we couldn't sell, and tell me lies about Iraq. Pump the cattle up so that steroid-laden super meat is all you ever fucking eat, and burn the farms with pesticides and devastate the beehives, and tell me lies about Iraq. Cast me open, dig a massive bloody hole to get to tiny bits of coal, to burn in ugly power stations, send acid rain to other nations, and tell me lies about Iraq. Cut my trees down, so in every pamp of British town, people with their knickers down can wipe their arse with fluffy quilts and point to furniture they self-built, and tell me lies about Iraq. Tell me lies. Tell me more lies. Tell me lies about benefit claimants. Tell me lies about single parents. Tell me Scousers will steal my car. Tell me human rights has gone too far. And tell me I'm facing imminent attack from those weapons of mass destruction that never existed anywhere, ever, in Iraq. Thank you.
Your little doll hands felt for the beat behind my breast. It seemed so strange that there'd be a drum inside my chest, and then you wondered if my little drum ever hurt, and I said only when it breaks beneath heavy words. We stayed up all night, and I sang you the saddest song. You never cried, and I thought something must be wrong. I didn't know then. I cannot help the way I feel. I didn't know then. I thought that every girl was real. I didn't know then. You didn't tell me that your name was Pinocchio. We walked through cities and countries, and it was through me that you were happy vicariously. Live the life that you had. But I lived for simple things, get entangled in your strings, even though you never loved me back. I didn't know that I cannot help the way I feel. I didn't know then. I thought that every girl was real. I didn't know then. You didn't tell me that your name was Pinocchio. Nobody would kiss the girl with the wooden lips, except the boy couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. Nobody would kiss the girl with the wooden lips, except the boy couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. Bullets and Bombs about Scotland's age-old problem with sectarianism. So he was publicly crucified and then vilified, just to defend his rights, and they lashed out at him, subjected to the mob in their lives. Makes you think once and then twice. My beautiful country. Attacked and assaulted in the streets, heads to the beach. Every week I go where you hides behind freedom of speech. And the walls would declare the bullets and bombs could be spared. My beautiful country. Open your minds and share powers of hatred and fear. Open your minds and share powers of hatred and fear. Not to create a country to using your feet. A scapegoat is found and a bunch of surrounding slow exterminate. So time's going down. My beautiful country. Open your minds and share powers of hatred and fear. Open your minds and share powers of hatred and fear. A few weeks ago I turned 50.
those of you who know me will know that, because I shouted about the rages on Facebook, still didn't get anything. And this poem I wrote 2 years ago, just after the Wicker Man Festival, about keeping that great flyer. I don't want to take Chris in my pocket. About my birthdays, you know. This poem's a bit of a kind of tour-ish, which doesn't mention Cumnock, just mentions other places that I lived at various points of my life, and because we moved a lot. It's called What I Got for. Oh, and I want to point out actually, two names of people in this poem, Paul and Geraldine McGrain, who live in St Anne's, and next week I'm going down to St Anne's for their, in Blackpool for their 50th, or their joint 50th kind of thing. So it's all 50th this year for me. This is called What I Got for My Birthdays. Age 6, Main Street, Crooked Home. Me and my mum in the bus to Cumnock, and we went to the kiosk cafe for cheeseburgers and milk, and I got a Joe 90 doll, and he was made of spongy, foamy rubber that I chewed and chewed and chewed all the way through to his 1960s skeleton, metal spikes. Age 12, Chapel Lane, Galston. My dad said I was to get nothing because we went the week before to the children's panel again, that I got Sladest by Slade. It was made of anthems, all stomping and chanting and strumming, and it kept me going until punk. Aged 18, Gateside Road, Galston. I just get back for holiday that morning, and we went, me and Gal, to a party in the Mills, and I got Susan Turner and a kicking for her boyfriend. And she was made of smiles and eyes, all shiny and clever and beautiful, and I was in love for a while. Age 25, Dungaville Road, Cumnock. Me and Mary were no long married when we went to Millport, chips and bingo, bed and breakfast, and we got a baby on the way. He was made of caring and sharing, tolerance and respect, and that present I got to keep forever. Age 40, Lamlash Bay, Arran. They came from far and wide, well, from St Anne's and Falkirk, and we went to the beach with champagne and cake, and I got all my friends together in one place at one time, and that was made of Liam and Billy, Paul and Geraldine, Melanie and Molly. The kind of present you don't use all the time, you put it away, but it's there when you need it. Age 48, George McTurk Court, Cumnock. Woke up kicking. Not one single fucking present or card. So I went to my mum's for cheeseburgers and milk, and I got over 120 happy birthday messages on Facebook, and they were made a digital signal in binary code. And later that night, buoyed by my new popularity, I had an Asda meal for one.
This is called Last of a Brood. The Siscos sing with us in this one there. Wicked thoughts of happiness to keep it big. Nights spent on knees just stating my case. Decent times seem a long way away. Someone up there is like the look of my face. Working class houses and a working class day. Streets of steel, teenage dreams away. Echoes of thoughts and needs of descendants, whose narrow shoes they think they fill. Listen to the laugh at the end of the day. At least for now, I think that's what they're saying. It's a treasure to remember, but one you can't keep. Picture never lies, it's the last of a breeze. What's it like when you're chalking up the score? What's it like when you're the one on the floor? It's another one down, one missing key. That's the fast and sane to the deep. Oh, listen to the laugh at the end of the day. Peace for now, I think that's what they're saying. It's a treasure to remember, but one you can't keep. I bet you never lies, it's my last over breeze. Listen to the laugh at the end of the day. He's from out, I think that's what they're saying. It's a treasure to remember, but what we can't keep. I bet you never lies, it's the last over. Last of a breeze. And this song's called Something. I can do this. You can do it, aye. It's my whistling. Some people love you all the time. Some people don't exactly know which kind. Maybe even someone like you. Wish I was more like that, don't you? Don't you? Some people don't realize they're not enough. Some people just keep going until they've got too much. One of these days, it's gonna break. Feel so threatened. Wish I knew that. Wish I knew that. Sometimes in the sunshine, things seem better though it's not. Sometimes in the sunshine, things seem better though it's not. Some people like to keep you wondering. Some people like to make you feel that you're. I'm quite happy. I'm not like them. Sometimes in the sunshine things seem better though it's not. Sometimes in the sunshine things seem better though I know it's. I was more like that, don't you? Don't you? Don't you? Don't you? Wish I was more like that. 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 I wish I was more like that.
Last poem is about a very important question that we're all having to face the next year, whether you like it or not. No matter who you are, if you live here in Scotland, next year you're going to have to face up to a very important question in 2014. And that question, the outcome of that question lies mainly in the hands of one man, a very arrogant and pompous man, whether you like him or not. The reality is that he's very much going to be deciding what happens the result of that question. And that question is, of course, the man, of course, is Gordon Strachan. And the question in 2014 is, we have to look at, will we ever qualify for another World Cup finals ever again? This is called Joke Tamsin Gills. Scottish football's in the dock. It seems that we're the laughing stock of Europe. No longer will we see the day when the likes of Cooper, Hanson, Paul McStay, Baxter, Johnson, Dennis Law, the artists of the Tanner Bob will grace the greatest stage on earth to show the world what we are worth. But as our team face many tankings and slip further down the FIFA rankings, maybe we should ponder whether this list of heroes even ever played together. I mean, it wasn't McNeil that lifted up the 1966 World Cup. 4 years later, we didn't even go to the Classic finals in Mexico. But then I'm sure that David Hume did not meet Irvin Welsh or Walter Scott. James Macmillan never will debate with Pete. But it's the same for Poland and the same for Sweden. And Marie Curie never got a call for Copernicus or Pope John Paul. So I know we like to greet and whinge and exercise the Scottish cringe, but let's face it, just like most small nations, we sometimes rise above our station. So don't mope when it doesn't go your way. Rejoice when the wee dog has its day. We've aye been mediocre, we've never been great, but let's enjoy and celebrate the times, the beautiful times, when we punch above our weight. Thank you. And before we finish, there's one more song to San Fran and the Siscos. I just want to thank you for coming. It's brilliant. Usually if you're a poet and it's the same amount of people in the audience as on stage, that means there's one person there. But the manage at the end, it's not bad, it's actually worked out, no a bad ratio. But I want to thank obviously the Siscos. San Fran and the Siscos, and you all for coming. But I especially want to thank, we wouldn't be writing songs and poems about the things that we write about or care about these things if it wasn't for the people that sort of brought us up and all that. So I want to thank Pat Lopez, Agnes Gick, Edna Chidwick and Hughie Monaghan as well. And I'll hand you back to San Fran and the Siscos. Thank you. Thank you.
My town's a green town. There's no fuck the Queen. Green town, it's a dream every same town. We did was freshly dug. That's the green that goes through every crack. Pavements, viaducts, football parks, where men who suffer heart attacks go walks with you like dogs. My town's a blue town. How the fuck are you town? What school did you go to town? And are you one of those? That's blue that through doors and walls, the pubs and bookies and village halls, where men would gather daddy's walls instead of garden us. Cause these towns were built of bricks and steel, their wages out under the wheel. Another miner dead down, a men who fought and bled down in brave and stalwart ways. That's red that came in ignorance. They fought the blood with bombs and wounds when battle bands played different tunes and marched to their lanes. 'Cause these towns were built for bricks and steel, few wages earned under the wheel. Into the black the men were sent, every old man will go. Now my town's a grey town, 50 miles a day town. I watch life slip away down tumbleweed lane. That's gated looks for dynamics, bewildered parents and children's cries with skinny ends and stick-like ties and East and flirty face. 'Cause these towns were built for bricks and steel, few wages out under the wheel. Into the black men were sent, every old man will go. These towns were built for bricks and steel, few wages earned under the wheel. Into the black the men were sent, every old man will go. Thank you for coming.
There is a show after us, and they're now running 20 minutes late, and they're all waiting outside, so everybody
Jen,
can
you
the
have a
audience.
wee donation pot for your...
Oh yeah, do we have a wee hat or something?
Aye.
I don't forgot a wee thing.
glass.
A glass or something, yes, aye. My sticky old coffee cup. Yeah, we got, thanks Viv. Thanks Viv. Oh shit, wrong one. In fact, I'll do that. I'll stand at the door outside. You can give me a donation at the top. Sales and I'll come back down to clear it all out. Okay, gig will get.
That was lovely. That was so nice. That Edinburgh song, it was all goosebumps and all that.
I love that last song, I've not heard that before.
Oh, I know,
That's
what
great.
beautiful.
That book's worth looking at actually.
Well done, guys.
Thank you. Well, I mean, that's what it'll be tomorrow. It'll be rehearsing.